want to remove the center console, so pulling from under here, pull out, then reach for your reach your index finger into this portion, pull out, and then it will come out this way, down. Then you can disconnect the connectors. This is what the back looks like. You can see where the pins and the connections made up go in the holes. The connector, they were a little bit tricky. I had to use both hands. I also used a towel to make sure that while it was folded over this way that it didn't scratch the other piano black trim. Okay, so I just pulled up and unsnapped this here. Now it's come loose from the clips. So you can see all the connectors. See if we can find the, so that's the power. Green on the right, gray in the center, white on the left for the idle stopper, one in the back for the dynamic mode. So I'll have to take a peek back there, see what's holding that. So this is for the mode control, called the individual mode connector. See the different wires that are there in the different spots. I'll have to find out which one is the individual mode. And then again, as far as this is the idle stopper one. It would be interesting to find out which colors do what when the button's pressed. I have a multimeter on the setting beep. What I'm going to do is probe the pins right here for the auto stop start. And what I found is that the pins in here, the last one and the third one, happen to be the button being pressed. So I'm going to hold the button with my pinky and I'm going to probe until the pins beep. So this is a little bit hard. I don't happen to have all my old tools and I try to use some other pins. So again, the very right pin and the third pin. And if I let go of the button, nothing. Okay, so I've confirmed that the first one and the third one have continuity together, and it's momentary. So I'm going to try to see what the colors of the wires are on the harness side and jump the pins and see what happens. All right, so I've set this up to even try to figure out the individual button just to see if there was something. So this seems to be a little bit different. I've used a pin from a different harness and I'm moving them over to each one, and there's going to be a certain amount, so however many rows and pins, and I'm just holding the individual button in while probing, and none of the pins beep together. I've been through it twice just to make sure, and I've accidentally touched them a couple times, but overall, I couldn't find a pin switch. Usually when you find it, if you let go of the button, it stops beeping. You press it a few times and you can get it to beep. So I don't believe that this individual or rotation button here performs the same way as the momentary switch on the idle stop start. So at least I have that information for the idle stop start. For the sake of documenting it, this is what it looks like for the switch side. And the pins that ring together are 4 and 6. I just gave them numerical values. They're arbitrary. I could be getting to the harness and they could be A, B, C, D, alphabetical, or it could be backwards, but it's a 6-pin connector, and those are the 2 pins that beep when the button is pressed. All right, so if I do it, here's a little test jumper. So I have the flat side, and I said it was pin 4 and 6. You can see the color distinction there. If you flip it over this way, this is the way that it's going to be facing the switch. Okay. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but I put solid strand wire in there. So we'll test that really quick with everything disconnected. We'll see what happens. I just wanted to say that I was pretty bummed at this point. I did a lot of testing, but the recording didn't happen. I might have deleted it or just not hit the record button. But anyway, after I put the jumper pin in, it was a constant signal through the 2 wires. And as I was researching the forums for the Pilot and older MDX, I realized that it does not like to have it constantly connected. It's going to ignore the signal, the 12 volts that are going through the 2 wires. If it is already seeing that signal when it starts up, it is not going to accept that as a push button command to disable the auto stop start. So at that point of putting the panels back without the jumper to test it again, the MDX functioned as normal. I tried it with the starting the car and pressing the button. Basically with the jumper pin, the button's disabled. It doesn't do anything because the pins are jumped. So I did remove the red jumper solid strand wire and went to retest, and it just works as normal again. So it was a little bit of a trial and error just to test whether or not the jumper pin would work. As you can see, I also tested the individual button. My idea was that eventually I would just figure something out for the individual button, since you can save those settings. So since that didn't really work out, I'm just kind of exploring around. I'm also interested in looking for a solution to add in the 360-degree cameras. There are some posts about that. Can you add it in? And I'm just looking to see right now what kind of wiring options are there. And at the end of the video, I do kind of show one of the connectors that goes to the unit for the screen, and there is a green connector that is not placed yet. So I'm kind of wondering what type of connector it is. You know, high-speed data bus or some kind of coaxial data cable, and I'll just show you pretty much what is in that area, and maybe we can find something out. Maybe we can figure out what cabling needs to be done to add in some extra accessories. The harness is coming through there. This one, gray one, through the middle. This temperature one is above this. All these are down here. I'm gonna take some more screws out here and probably here. Take off this plastic and take a look at the screen. I just want to get this here. Only one connector that's not connected down there. That green one. Got like purple, red, blue, green in the back. It's hard to see, but there's a green one, blue one, a red one, purple with this black box. Sort of high-speed data. Then a jumper from that one to this one. There was a blue one in the back. Gray connectors. Nothing for like USB in or anything like that. So unfortunate. There's gotta be something, man. I bet that green one's for the camera. All the connectors are on the bottom. Alright, so my next idea would be to use what is off the shelf. So there is an idle stopper version 2, full plug and play for $89, and this one takes into account the auto stop start functionality that delays the amount of time before it presses the button, and it uses the power source from the lower accessory area in the passenger side that basically stills power and ground, which is used to control or used to power the controller, and then the functionality of the delayed push button will then enable the or disable the idle stop. So I will be looking into this and seeing if this is a solution that I can just install and do a video on it. I'm sure there's already videos of it, but I could show the exact same video for the MDX.